Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Firdaus Hilda Ramadhani and I'm the third speaker of Group 8. The first that I would like to present is example of prose in literature. The first, prose in novel. Prose in novel usually written in the form of narrative and almost all of it is imaginary or imagination of the authors. The example of prose in novel is in the year of 1984 by George Orwell, entitled "It Was a Bright Cold Day in April and the clocks were striking 13." And the number second is prose in speech. Prose in speech, usually used in speech, often express thoughts or ideas of the speakers. The example is Nobel Peace Acceptance speech by Mother Teresa entitled "The poor are very great people. They can teach us so many beautiful things." The last example of prose in literature is prose in plays. Prose written in plays aims to be dramatic or eventful. Example, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof by Tennessee Williams, entitled "You can be young without money, but you can't be old without it." The next one I would like to present is difference between prose and poetry. In a meaning, prose is straightforward form of literature where the author expresses his or her thoughts and feelings in lucid way. Then poetry is a form of literature which the author usually use unique styles and rhyme to express intense experience. And for the language, prose using straightforward, then a poetry usually use expressive or decorative. And in the nature, prose use pragmatic nature and poetry use imaginative. And prose sometimes also use imaginative. Prose essence is the message of the information, then a poetry, the essence is the experience. And the purpose of prose itself is to provide information and to convey a message, also to amuse the readers. Then a poetry, the purpose of poetry is to delight or amuse the reader only. And the ideas of prose, ideas can found in the sentence which are arranged in paragraph. Rather than a poetry, the ideas of a poetry can be found in lines which are arranged in a sentence. And a prose has no line break, but the poetry has line break. In paraphrasing, prose can be paraphrased, but a poetry cannot be paraphrased because exact paraphrasing is not possible in a poetry. Next, I would like to deliver material about the use of prose in English language teaching. What I would like to deliver is the first, some aspects of prose that should be understood by the students dealing with the utilizing prose in language teaching. There are 5 things that should be understood by the students. The first is the meaning of the plot. Of course, because in a prose, the authors sometimes using plots. And the second is characters, because in a prose sometimes has more than one characters. And the second is point of view. The third is point of view. The fourth is the theme of the prose, and number 5 is figurative language of the prose. These 5 things or these 5 points in using prose as the pivot in ELT are going to be used as media, but not to achieve practitionery. It means that 5 things should be known for the students, but it's not the point of teaching using put. The fifth element, meaning of the plot, characters, point of view, theme, and figurative language should be known by the students, but it's not the point of using prose in teaching language. Okay, I'm going to tell you about the 6 basic principles of participatory language teaching mentioned by Richard Amato. And the first starting point is the experience of the participants or students. Their needs and concerns should be center of the curriculum content. And the content of teaching and learning should be based on the student's experience, where the student's experience will be something that will be used in the teaching and learning process, because in the prose we also can use our experience to make a prose and to learn it as a media for learn language. And the second is everyone teach, everyone learns. Everyone teach, everyone learns means that the teacher is not only the teacher is not the center of teaching and learning process, but the students also can be the material can be get from the students. The students may deliver his or her opinion or give some knowledge to their friends or even their teacher. That's what means by everyone teach, everyone learns. The third is classroom process are dialogical and collaborative. It means that when we use prose as the media of teaching English or teaching language, the classroom should not be passive and the students should have more dialogical or discussion like that. So they also have to can be used collaborative learning, like discussing an issue together with their friends, then make a prose based on their discussion. The students also have chance to have a collaborative learning with their friends. It means that the teacher give a chance for the students to share their opinion to their friends and have a discussion with their friends to do the assignments or just to get more knowledge like that. The fourth is individual experience linked to social analysis. It means that the students' own experience will be linked to the social life so that they will learn and they will get more knowledge and value of the social life to their self. The next is the acquisition of skills and information is contextualized. It means that what the students learn is not something that unreal or cannot be adjusted in their real life. The material that the students learn can be matched, can be used in their real life. It means that something they learn should be contextualized. And the last is the contents go back to the social context. It means that the material that the students learn is a material that match with social contents, where the students will be able to apply the material in their social life, so that the student will get the knowledge that useful for not only in the process of teaching and learning, but also in their real life. Now I would like to combine the 6 basic principles of participatory English language teaching with the praiseworthy of prose for participatory English language teaching. The first is prose is authentic. Prose can be the pivot of participatory English language teaching on its goodness of authenticity. It means that a prose is an authentic thing that can be used to teach English or to be the media of to teach English. It means that prose is related to the 6 basic of participatory English language teaching, where a prose is authentic and also contextual to learn English. The second is prose can provide memorable context for the language. Prose, using plotline and characters, engages students emotionally as well as cognitively. It means that a prose, which usually written by the author with some characters, it may relate with a social real life, where the student will be more easier to understand and to memorize the prose itself and the language that used in the prose, because by involving the student's self in the story of the prose, it can be more easier for the students to have long, memorable experience of learning, of understanding. And the third is prose illustrates appropriate language for specific situations. It means that each story has its own language features. It owns the way of the authors telling the story. So it will be more for the students to understand by reading the story and linked it to the real life. So prose illustrates appropriate language for specific situation that can be easily understood by students. And the fourth is prose links students to cultures and subcultures. Sometimes because a prose is serve a story or an opinion that relate to the real lives, so cultures can be involved to the prose. It means that the students also will learn about culture and subcultures that has already known by them, so it will be more easier for the students to learn language with prose, because prose links students to the cultures and subcultures. The last is prose presents topics for critical analysis, discussion, writing, and encourage performance. A prose, an artistic creativity like literary work, is not a fruit that ready to be eaten or easily understand, but it needs students' critical analysis, and students should to discuss the prose with their friends to understand what the prose actually want to tell them. So it means that prose is encourage students to draw, inference, interpret, and to explore their personal experience and social issues to understand what the prose want to tell them actually. Okay, after I explain about the 6 principle of participatory English language teaching and combine it with the praiseworthy of prose for English language teaching, now I would like to tell you how to conduct the activity of teaching English language using prose, based on Richard Amanto and Hansen's opinion. There are three parts of teaching. The first is pre-reading or pre-writing, while reading or while writing, and also post-reading or post-writing. In the pre-reading or writing, the teacher should be guide of the students and can be the teacher can be asked specific issues or have an open discussion with the students. For example, nowadays we are we close with the issues of corona. The teacher can be start the class pre-reading with maybe discussing about the issues of corona. So the students will deliver their opinion about corona. They have a discussion. They sharing their thoughts before they they are given by the teacher of an article or an essay related to corona, or they should write essay about corona, like that. So in the pre-reading or pre-teaching, the students will be guided by the teacher to find a problem and discuss it to get the data, to get the idea for later on they write or the text that will read by them. While reading activity or while writing activity, here the students will establish their opinion or imagination and give some additional thoughts that needed by them to create the writing or to understand the text that they read, like that. So, and the last is post-reading or post-writing activity. The teachers may conduct the discussion dealing with the activity that have been done by the students. So here, the teacher can make an evaluation or give some comments to the students' writing or to the students' understanding about the prose itself, about the context of the prose itself. Like the last is how to check students' understanding and to assess the students. Here, my group has three ways. The first is teacher can give some written question to know how far the students has understand about the prose that given by the teachers. And the second is the teacher also can use an interview to check and to assess students' understanding. And the last is asking the students to create written or spoken prose. Also this way also can be used by the teacher to check the understand and to assess the students' understanding. And the conclusion of my groups is prose is written by using grammatical sentence which forms a paragraph. It may also include a dialogues, and it is sometimes supported by image but does not have a metrical structure. And teaching English using prose means students is the center of the activity of teaching and learning process. The teacher is a guide and a narrator who provides the theme and deliver the theme simply to the students. Then the whole of stories will be built by the students' creativity. The prose can be used to teach language because it's related to the 6 basic principles of participatory language teaching that mentioned by Richard Amanto. That's the conclusion of my groups, And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.